Nova Scotia's EMO asked to use the hall as a registration centre for residents of Portapique who had fled their homes. An RCMP officer was posted here in a cruiser. By this time, police were on the hunt for the shooter, who they knew was impersonating a police officer. At 10:30 a.m., 2 RCMP officers fired multiple shots outside the hall. Sources have told CTV News the officers thought they were firing at the suspect when it was in fact a fellow Mountie.
This program is brought to you in part by...
Why don't you get yourself some turned-down collars, Poirot? They're much more the thing, you know.
The thing, Hastings? Do you think Poirot concerns himself with mere thingness?
No. No, I see that.
The turned-down collar is the first symptom of decay of the grey cells.
You know, I just think if people keep pushing, I can't, first of all, thank enough all of the hard work. There's 3 fellow YouTubers who are working very, very hard with me on this one. Rage in the Cage, Steve LTT, and Just My Stupid Opinion. Just plugging them, sorry. But they are fantastic guys, really been busting their humps here. And, you know, stepping up to the plate, because there's a certain amount of risk saying certain things. And also, likewise, all of the people who are volunteering information and time, which is, like I said, over on the Discord or sending me anonymously information, it is fantastic.
All right. Howdy. Wow, that looks terrible, doesn't it? Oh, well, bad hair day. And then again, moving along. How's it going, Craig, Mark, Aikichi, Steve, what's happening? Now, Adrian. Well, you guys, if anybody wants to jump in here, you guys feel free. Steve and I were looking at the video of Fifth Estate last night with the release of the Hunter Road video. This is good, Adrian. You'll like this. Perhaps somebody can just explain it. Steve's. So we were looking at the different videos and then comparing the pictures. And it looks like you guys have been busy over in the Discord, which is pretty awesome. But there was one thing that we came across, and I'm going to go through those too. But there was one thing that we came across that was very puzzling. Ghost on the screen. Perhaps somebody can explain it to me. Maybe it's just not being able to understand things. Let's see here. We'll do like this, right? Is that how that works? There we go. Okay, now. We didn't get any videos, right, from any of this stuff, just nice little stills and from the timeline. Well, when you watch the video, where's the best way to view that? Oh, balls. There we go. Okay. Boom. There seems to be a problem with the video. There seems to be a couple of cars. Steve and I were like, I think it was actually literally at the same time. Steve also noticed something else, which was really amazing. And I didn't pick up. And I'm going to go through the Discord, so maybe this is redundant. I didn't see it, though, when I was flipping through quickly. So why is it here that we have 2 cars? We can actually bring up the video. Now, where is that? Oops. Right here. Does that help? There's a Ghost with no push bar. What appears to have no push bar. How does a car appear ahead of itself in time on the video? notice how the video was made with taking a video of a video. This is so that you cannot study the metadata on a video or a picture. If you take a picture of a screen of a picture, you can't really tell the metadata. It's a very good way to hide things. Excuse me. Rather than just release the straight out video, which you can see. But this video actually has a ghost on the screen. Let's go back here. Okay, so on this part, I think people wisely saw that there was no push bar apparent. Let's see if we can get it. It doesn't look like there's any kind of push bar. I haven't gone through and studied it closer than that, as in emblems and things like that. I know Adrian and I discussed at the beginning the box of Blur. I don't know. Are you noticing that, Adrian? Okay. And then we're going to have, you know, don't just look away from right now, you know, don't pay attention. Okay. So two things I want you to pay attention to. One, the ghost on the screen. We'll see if we can get that freeze framed again. You did see, though, it was on the video. I did put the timestamp there. And the other is I want you to watch the picture-in-picture. Remember the picture-in-picture? Adrian will love that. And I was like, why is there a picture-in-picture in one and there's not a picture-in-picture in the other one? This is way back, right? You could see it in the corner. And I couldn't understand what the hell was going on, why one video camera has a picture-in-picture and the other one doesn't have a picture-in-picture. How many times can you say picture-in-picture in a minute? So this is like, Steve is like, oh, there's nothing going on up in the picture-in-picture. Watch carefully. We'll do both, right? So watch the picture-in-picture. Oh, there's nothing going on there. Now I can make a video of this and zoom it in so that everybody can see it, but we'll do it again. Watch the picture-in-picture on the quote-unquote return trip. No picture-in-picture. Now picture-in-picture with no car driving through it. How does that work? You have a car driving through on one, which has a ghost, as in it drives ahead of itself. I don't know quite how that works, but maybe there's some video problem. 13 hours, yes. I premiered it last night. Got a couple thousand views, which is great. Thank you to all of you who forward this onto Facebook. Apparently that seems to help a lot. So let's go back and see if we can get the ghost. What time is that at? I just want to be sure I've got the... Oh, right here. It's going to be here. 10:27. Now, let's see if we can slow this down. I'm not a very good driver. How do you slow it down again? I know people are like, you're so stupid. You don't have it. Figure it out. Playback speed. Let's just try and see if we slow it down quite a bit. If anything appears differently. When in fact it was a fellow Mountie. That's right, no timestamp. Okay. Hopefully really slow. Lower than Seamus. Oh, it's stuttering a little bit. That car just has a problem. Now, return trip. Let's see what happens. I don't know. We're doing this together. as always. Don't look here. The house isn't burning or anything. No pun intended. It's not a pun. Obviously, I don't mean anything by that. Okay, here we go. Oh, that seems to be having a problem. There also was no dust in the first video. I thought, I just said that maybe that was because of the dew, morning dew. I don't know. Miss a show, you miss a lot. Damn you. Jesus. No picture-in-picture in the first one, right? I think that's fairly old for those of you who... Oh, that's a video error, times 2. Let's see, on the way back. It's a beautiful photo. No car in the picture-in-picture. Steve just picked that up. He's like, right away. I'm like, holy Christ. So we had no dust on the first one. Picture-in-picture. Why don't we focus on the picture-in-picture? Oh. What do you call it? That's one with the other. Do you remember, guys? Remember that song? He's driving the Ford Inconceivable. Okay, why don't we try that again? When in fact it was a fellow Mountie. And then we're going to go through your comments over there. Awesome comments. There was also a Frank article. Suppose we can have a view at that. All right, here we go. No vehicle in the second one, right? Push bar and dust. Oh, stutter. I don't think that's possible. I don't think that can happen. But maybe I'm wrong. I'm not a video pro. Perhaps somebody in here is. Or the Ford implant. Okay, so now we're looking for stuttering car. And picture-in-picture. Oh. Okay. Now, I know there were some great ideas over there. I don't know what your thoughts are on that. Awesome Eyes, Steve. And I know we got some couple things out there for sure right early on. And those of you who aren't familiar with this channel, because I do know that there's new people that join us and then other people who seem to get booted off, be sure to check your subscriptions. Everything actually, funnily enough, I have left on this channel is Nova Scotia. So it's all Nova Scotia all the time. Love Nova Scotia. Love my friend. Love our friend. All right, now I did do some close-ups. So there you can see there's nothing driving through. Okay, that's one. I don't want you thinking I'm playing with the video because that's, you never know in these day and age, do you? Here's a more a better view of the ghosting. And it doesn't appear to have the push bar. I don't know. Can't really tell. Steve didn't think so. Steve's got better eyes than me. He can see the, look, there's no car. And I knew this video was going to be important. This is why they release stills. You see, they're very careful to release the stills. They're carefully framed so that you can't see certain things in it, and they can control it. When it's a video, it's very hard to control, even though we have lots of interesting technology. Paul, what's happening, sir? I miss your songs. Oh dear. Should there be a timestamp on the picture-in-picture? I don't know. Should there be? I'm asking. I don't claim to know these things. No. Jesus, quit promoting another channel. They just glean research that we do and spin it. But I'm glad that they are drawing some new attention, except the only thing that I have a problem with is that they're trying to portray it as incompetence, which it's not. This was a very clear thing from the start, but as we go through the timeline, it'll be better. Now, let's see what some of your great stuff is over here in the Discord. Perhaps I'm just repeating myself anyway. That would be poor. Okay. Alrighty then. Okay. I do have the videos also of the 13 hours. I just haven't listed them yet. Who's that? Stop phoning. Oh. One moment, please. All right, they hung up. Perhaps they're watching. I know they'll be interested in that for sure. All right, so picture-in-picture, no timestamp on the other image. Okay, well, we've got that. No car. I think the car missing is kind of important too. Why not think the timestamp would be in a different place? Okay, I'm missing that. Sorry. 9:23. Why am I missing that? The timestamp is down here. Oh. I didn't notice any timestamp there. The time, they're playing with the timeline, but we won't get into that today. At the 10-minute mark, it shows a car heading towards the Jenkins place. Then watch Fifth Estate 13 hours. At the 10-minute mark, they show the car leaving. The Fifth Estate refers to this as 3 hours later. Watching the video starting at the 10-minute mark, one can clearly see that the car on the way to the property has no push bar. Yet driving out, Fifth Estate says 3 hours later. Now the car has a push bar. Okay, excellent. Excellent. You see, this is why good eyes. You guys are awesome. Frame rate of a video is important, says Rick. Okay, so the car can appear ahead of itself as a ghost? Is that what you're saying? How about in the picture-in-picture? Does it just disappear? Do things disappear? I'm just trying to understand. Do push bars disappear? Because it is very apparent here, the push bar. It's a neat, I don't know what is that? Are they using a telescope? I feel like Skippy and Friends. Skippy! Where's Skippy? When you need him. He was sending emails. Okay. Wasn't GW supposed to have been at their home 3 hours, though? Or did the story change? Yes, the timeline is messed up. They've done some more things to it. Maybe it's time for them to admit they've been busted and just come clean. After all, confession is good if you have a soul, says Razmataz. 100%, 100%. But the problem is it's why do they go to these extents? You need to ask yourself that. There are some other things that they're doing which we also equally will not discuss right now. They're going to some really, really crazy lengths. And any of you who have been involved in this investigation from the beginning are well aware of that. Indeed, you are correct, Razmataz. It was 3 hours later. The story changes with every media story. It's almost sounding like Harry or John. John's been talking that way recently too. John Farrington, I shouldn't address him as John. I'm not on a first name basis. But the video is missing the push bar in the way in and firmly in place on the way out. Proof that they are changing the story. This is pretty nuts if they're going to alter this kind of stuff. Right? This is not for a dead guy, as in a man who was dead down in Enfield and no investigation here. Remember the question that Frank Magazine posed a long time ago? That Carrington, I forget his name. It's eluding me. Those of you down there know exactly who I'm talking about. And he's like, you don't need to dress up a sow's ear. It's an investigation. Why do you have to put all this wrapping on it? But they want to wrap things with lies. Lies on lies. That's on lies on lies on lies. You lie, you don't have to have a good memory. Fifth Estate, okay, shows the time car on the way out was 6:30, clearly seen in the Fifth Estate video. You remember how in the pictures, let's see, it was missing See, I had that from a long time ago. That's in some video. I'm like, why is this here? Adrian must remember. I kept probably being really anal about it. I'm anal about these kinds of things. Adrian's like, there's a box on the side of the car, which it appears to be. It definitely appears to be a solid rectangle of pixelation over top of the emblem. Right? And this is, obviously I've doodled on it. So that's, but you can go and find the original and then you'll know for yourself. Where is their handy duty photos? Go and download them. I believe I've archived them, but do be sure to go and download everything, please. And I can only implore you, archive absolutely everything. Archive.is, archive.org. They change articles as this has gone along. I've gone through those before. Some of them anyway. There are a lot. So if you archive articles that you come across, then when they change, we can always go back and find the original one. Fifth Estate episode was good example of controlled opposition. Right on, buddy. Right on. Likely the camera records at slower frame rate. Okay, so Rick says no. You're saying it's. It seems to be a problem. Not stupid. I'm stupid. Is that what you're saying? Thanks, buddy. Let's see here. Where is that? We can go to Darren's speaking notes. See, they got all kinds of things, problems here. We've got pants that are clean and have no problem, creased and nice pleat on them, just ironed. There's so many absolute lunacy things that you know. Again, no smoke damage, no fire damage. All these clothes are just clean. He's been sleeping in them and whatever, if you want to go with that one. Driving around. No, obviously, that was kind of... there we go with the pants, right? No stripe on the pants. Where's the stripe? Maybe he's protesting the RCMP. Maybe he's RCMP protesting the RCMP. That's how they protest, right? They take their stripe off their pants. Or so I'm told. Slower is worse. Okay. Okay, perhaps you and I can have a phone conversation so you can explain this to me. Are you saying that that's not relevant? There we go. Here's speaking remarks. Speaking remarks with clipped 9:23. What do we have in the video again? Notice the all right, just 1 second here. 1 second. Where did that screen go? Where are things going? Oh no. Steve was showing me something or listening to something in the background that was raging me. I'm going to touch that right now. Okay. So here we have 6:29. Sorry, give me one moment. 6:29 up here, 01. And the clock does roll over, so that's correct. And then we have the return visit. So let's get that. Beautiful photo. Tragic. Need to help these people get justice. Oh, okay. 9:23. And what time did the RCMP say that is? I think they said it was 9:23 as well, didn't they? They actually got this one right, I think. 9:23. It's too bad they didn't get the ghost image in there. That would have helped. Okay. Back to some of your comments, and then we'll also do a little bit of more of the Discord. RCMP, federal trickery. I'm shocked. Everyone is playing the SIA game, including the local police departments. Yeah, well, I don't know if Mr. McNeil is related to Premier McNeil, Chief McNeil, and I'm not sure if that's true or not, but I liked how at least he came out with some good stuff there. Maybe that's why Premier McNeil resigned. I don't know. Lots of good cops out there. Problem. Archive sites are now altering their articles based on fact check. I have noticed a couple of articles disappeared that I had archived, and I was like, I'm sure one of you probably in here or that watches this afterwards was on the phone with me, and I'm like, but that's fine. Just keep doing it. Alex, how's it going? Slower is worse, says Rick. Only dirt on the tires looks from the shoulder of the highway, says Jumbo. One thing I forgot to mention, notice the vid from the smoke shop in the 5th Estate. They stop showing the video right before when he's about to show his arm. Oh, that's interesting. Where's that at? Oh, have we gone too far here? Here we go. Okay. Let's see. I didn't share the audio. My audio is off, I think. Okay. 10:54. Oh. Okay, so the time is correct. They haven't altered that. Now. Oh, yep. They don't show his arm. Interesting point. Great point, Steve. Great eyes. Wow, just amazing, you guys. They also say that GW pulls up beside Morrison. I know, Sells, you have pointed this out, but there's no way he pulled up beside him. Not possible. That is a longer story for another day. But I did notice that it's interesting that they show the angle from 224, basically. That's it. When there's the insinuation that he's driving down 2. But as you can see, it's pretty hard to see through trees here on the right-hand side. And yes, there's foliage and all this other stuff. But there's not a lot of shoulder to pull off on. And some of these trees are not deciduous, but are in fact evergreens. So coniferous trees. So you can't, those don't change, right? We don't lose our pine needles. But they do all, you see, it's all from 224 coming to 2. And if you were to turn your head to the right at this point in time, I think I've done that in a few videos, you can't see up the highway. Also, just on that note, correct flow of traffic. He knows that Heidi Stevenson is behind him because they're both coming from Enfield, right? Would have come up from the number 2. So a car heading southbound towards him would not, in fact, be an RCMP cruiser, even if he were to actually see it, probably rather than invent it. Moving along. The bandages. Yes, the bandages. Good point, Steve. That was great. Geez, Steve's on fire. Working hard today, are you? He's at work, working hard. Didn't get to hear much from Adrian. I want to hear more from Adrian. I still don't think Morrison was shot. In some of the pictures, you can clearly see one arm, he is burnt. Well, whatever it was, he recovered quickly. I think we can all agree on that one. He came home and he was picking up children. I guess it's one of those miraculous recoveries, like the dogs getting shot and being able to go home right away. Mr. Morrison went home in under 24 hours. Is that correct? Or sorry. Yes, about that. And he's picking up children. Picking up children. No problem. Okay. You get shot in the arm with a quote, I like that use, quote, law enforcement carbine. Really behind on some of these stories, so as in not behind reading them, behind going through them, but the quote, law enforcement carbine, quote, they keep using that. That's plausible deniability. No serial numbers. Didn't say where it was legally purchased from in California before it was smuggled into Canada. That has no bearing on anything. Somebody buying a weapon down in the States and then smuggling it across here. Zero. It doesn't have anything to do with the price of tea in China. The guns that are legal, they don't give you the caliber on. Yeah. No serial numbers on any of them. It doesn't even refer to, anytime I've read any article, papers are very big about bragging rights. I don't know if you've noticed this media, like Global has discovered this, or exactly in this video. We had a bunch of it. Fifth Estate has uncovered this, right? That's the way it works. National Post writes an article and they talk about an access to information. They don't refer to it as an ATIP request, which is interesting. And they don't say that they do it. They don't say when it was filed, and that it's just briefing notes that the Prime Minister heard a few days later. If that, you believe that, I got an igloo for you, because he would have heard about it more than likely that night, or he would have heard about it for sure in the morning. That's regular briefing. So that was what they came out with. Now, moving along. Ministry of Truth. Check shadow on early photo. Okay, let's do that. Oh, why is it like this? Something is going wrong here. What is going on here? There we go. Okay. Those F10, 11 buttons. I never know what they do. The earlier photo. Oh, there's my friend. Sorry, I sometimes I get off track. Another point to point out was the 911 calls. 911 calls, there were a multitude of 911 calls. 911 doesn't like to let people off the phone, right? So if we have Jamie phoning and Lisa phoning 911, sadly, whoever's on the other end of the phone would have heard something terrible. I think you can know what I'm saying. That meant the RCMP knew right away. That was at 10:01 or so they say. Now, we have going on for another hour and a half. And then we had a firearms complaint. Even though they declared themselves, as soon as they got there, they encountered murder victims and multiple arsons. But this is what they left. Because, you know, they want you to be safe. As multiple people in Portapique who weren't informed until the next day. They didn't even know. Some people got it off Facebook. Good job. But this isn't incompetence. They were just in full cover-up mode. This is fitting. Chirp, chirp, chirp. So we're going to go back to Ricky and the earlier photo. Shadow. I don't know if it's going to come through on my end. The earlier photo. Why do I not have a picture of the earlier photo? I just have the RCMP briefing notes. Again, I would suggest downloading those. Excuse me. Wrong one. Here we go. This one always, I have a difficult time watching or looking at any of this because I understand so many different things in the story, as many of you do. And, you know, obviously there's certain things that I don't talk about, but I just have a problem. I always have a problem with this 543 picture. Okay, this, whatever they want to call this little tiny rectangle, which has clearly been extremely clipped. What is that? Is that a bus? I can't understand. I mean, obviously it's not a bus, but is it a car? A police car? I don't see a police number. I do not see Mr. Wortman in this vehicle. I don't even see a push bar. So is this honestly their justification that he had a little snooze, you know, after going through garbage piles of adrenaline? No, it doesn't work. Sorry, that would be because he was doing some other things. Now, we've got the shadow. Is this what you're looking for, Ricky? Rick. Dave McNeil isn't related. Thank you. I didn't know. He definitely has a few police relatives. A lot of police in this story. Blair, former chief of Toronto Police. Gosh, that would have been fun to work underneath. Perhaps when he was drunk, that would have been a bit better. I haven't followed the story too much, Burned Out Rage, but is definitely full of misconceptions. Misconceptions, well, possibly. Lies. Without it, nothing adds up thanks to your work. No, that's thanks to everybody who's in here. I really appreciate all you guys. And I do appreciate this. I hate, what do you call that? sharing, asking for shares or likes or whatever. But it does seem to help us get the message out. And I think it's getting to the right people. Definitely. Definitely. Paul takes notice, I'll assure you, as do other people in this story. Again, though he is facing 224 highway, how the fuck does he come up behind him? Turn left? Highly doubt it. Yeah, he would have done a U-turn. This thing, but that's going to take a little while to explain. And I wish I had better computer driving skills or something. You can do like doodle maps or something. Adrian's really good at that. Hint. Just typing about that. Dogs. Okay, the dogs, yes. Dogs, doggaroos, dogs. Well, I'm glad the boys have their dog. Also very glad for, yeah. Gina's dog was running around till 6 p.m. 6 p.m. How long was that after? Got shot? Forget the dog's name. Oh my. And then going home the next day. Okay. Fifth Estate refers to two who shot at the fire hall officers in a passing cruiser. That is a lie. They pulled up in a civilian car. That is a civilian car. Car is not a passing cruiser. That is true. Yep. No. And Sharon did say that. I think the video that we had, the interview, it's not the audio. I'll put it up after this. It's just that Adrian's audio is not very good on that. I don't know how best to do that. Perhaps he may have some advice. We can try and see if we can redo it. Let's see. I always say F10 full screen. Thank you. Where's the F-150? Wrangler and the Scion. Where's the Mercedes? The F-150, though, is an important one. I liked how they kept that picture that they had, which was a different picture, so I'm not sure why. I won't touch that one. Why we didn't get that one, but anything is better than nothing. So, of course, we got the super enhanced photo this time, right? The super enhanced photo, courtesy of Mr. Pinio. If you look here, you can, of course, see the assailant in here. Something about the roof racks I was told yesterday to look into. Don't know anything about that. Perhaps somebody else does. Okay. So if they have this photo, right, where we can see the Joey Weber vehicle, the supposed Workman car, and the supposed Heidi Stevenson car here, the amount of damage I haven't quite understood. I don't know if you guys are feeling settled with that. But just so that you have a time frame, and the assailant in the front seat as well as the bullet hole. Now let's see, because the picture is kind of small. There is a picture, however, that caused much stir, right? Early on. That would be... Oh. Where is it here? Trying to find it. It's probably on my phone. I was doing all my stuff on my phone. No, don't go through my phone. I know you have already. Stay out of it. Not your business. So this is shortly, I would say shortly after the photo, or shortly before, it could be. And we have the assailant here on the right-hand side of the screen, not in the front of the car, right? But we have a truck here, a truck who has never reappeared, no discussion. This truck, in fact, as Steve diligently found out, is a F-150. Kind of like, let's see, can we find the F-150 like this, okay? Kind of like what Mr. Wortman had. And there's never been discussion of. So I'm just throwing it out there. Is that a possibility? I don't know. These things need to be ruled out. Not going all conspiracy, just saying. Just saying. Yeah. Let's go back to some of your notes, and then we'll go through what else is in the Discord. Love the cat. You love the cat? Yes. I wish they'd stop using animals as psychological warfare on people. It's really not fair to animals. Here, Adrian. 10:01. People shot on the phone, tweet, firearms complaint. Yes, how many, I think I'm up to 5 people that are phoning 911 before 10:26 now. 5. Well, 5 phone calls, shall we say. There may be multiple people involved on those phone calls. If there were no bars on GW car, why did she have to go through a partition? That's a good point. I think they're going to try and say that that's a plastic. However, in the warrant, it does indicate, quote, prisoner bars. I think I would like to put a challenge out there for, I will send somebody $10. How's that? I'm not a betting man. I used to bet. Not that I have a problem with that. It's just, yeah. Anyway, moving along. $10. How's that? $10. If somebody can reconstruct me a full working RCMP car, you can source out the parts. You can find a 2017 and all the parts that fit it. You know, like the center console with the tough book, and the encrypted radio, and the gun rack, and the partition, or sorry, prisoner bars, as they say. They give all the part numbers. Please do it. I encourage you. I would like to pay somebody $10. Do you need me to drive for you? Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. You want to hop in? You know it, buddy. Always. As long as the audio is better than yesterday. Shameful. You want to jump in too, Steve? I like more the merrier. You know me. Oh. My mom is emailing me. Okay. Sure, that'll be in. All right. Watch emails, sirs. Multiple. Would be great to see you in there, Adrian. I forgot what you look like. Yes, maybe he's no longer Shaggy. Just bugging, miss you, brother. Yeah, we know. Our brother is good. Tara was asking you about you this morning, Adrian. Asking about everybody, making sure everybody's okay. I'm like, everybody's good. We're all thinking of you. You can tell the dirt on the tire is only halfway around the tire. He locked her up when he hit the shoulder, and it only went halfway around. Okay. All right, there seems to be a love fest going on between Adrian and Steve. We'll move past that. Color same dirt on the rear bumper, awfully clean otherwise. Is that from the video from Marshall? Mercedes. Anybody know Mercedes? You know, it's interesting what all these people used to do. Did you know that Mercedes Stevenson used to work for in the Pentagon? Where did that story come from anyway? Gosh, I'm not going to make a lot of friends in the media, am I? I probably should just come out and make straight claims, but I'll just put it out there. Mike, how's it going? Ozone poisoning, COVID. Drooling to think that the only clear image that would pan out right and left. Getaway vehicle for the money. LB poured gas on the F-150, but it is not mentioned again. Did it say it went up? Did it say it went up, though? Let's see here. Which one are we on there? F-150. Let's try. Ford, 23 mentions. Gabriel Wortman poured gas on F-150, black Jeep Wrangler, and another white Taurus in the warehouse. He also poured gas on the Ford Taurus in the cottage. Gabriel Wortman only had a Ford Taurus. Okay, so I'm not seeing anything about burnt. Burnt. No burnt. We're missing vehicles. Mercedes is another one that's just simply gone from the, so we don't have a burned F-150. An F-150 that's not burned. Clear view of Yellow Vest due to the right of the cars would be so sweet. Yes. I'm wondering how one picture is so crisp and the other ones are so dirty. There we go.
Hello, sir.
How you doing?
Not too bad yourself.
Still got the poppy on, Punisher. Now you got a new hat.
This is one I've had for a while. I just didn't wear it. I don't know what the hell happened to my other one, the Canada hat. I kind of have a habit of just wearing these hats until they disappear or they're just destroyed from overusage, you know?
It looks very crisp. Did you clean it or something?
No, but again, it was like I only pulled this one out like a month and a half ago, maybe, and it was brand new before I got it.
You like my Budweiser hat?
I do. It's beautiful.
An alcoholic who wears a Budweiser hat. That's fucking, you gotta fucking love it, eh?
You should do is you should get like a Budweiser cozy for anytime you got like a can of pop or something. So that way, you just complete it.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, well, it makes me feel it's better than a bad hair day. I don't know. I have a few hats. I was like, what am I going to wear? I could wear it. I got a hat that says dope.
Well, there you go.
Dope.
Yeah, go the complete opposite way. Just become like a hard ass stoner.
Did you? Oh, that's hard on my eyes. Did you watch the Fifth Estate last night?
Yeah, I did. I was a little behind you guys because, like, oh, by the way, the reason the audio was so bad yesterday was because, like, I mentioned I was still at work, so I was using like these crappy Bluetooth headphones, and I thought it'd be okay. I didn't realize till you played some at the end how bad it was. But yeah, no, I did catch it. I was about 20 minutes behind you guys just because, like, I was pretty much leaving as it started up, but I ended up finishing it. Yeah. And that's why I said it was a good example of controlled opposition because it was meant to show that, and it was meant to present it as if they're asking the tough questions of the RCMP, and the RCMP really failed. But in the end, what they were doing was trying to placate those that had questions while leaving out all the big stuff. I mean, I thought it was kind of interesting that there was no mention when they were showing this back road that apparently Gabriel Wortman got out of. There was no mention of the construction on it that took place after the shooting happened, and we saw some of the video clips from
You're
it.
venturing
beforehand.
into very, very dangerous territory. You know that this is, in fact, one of the most contentious issues is that road.
Oh yeah,
I think you know my views. You know my views, but oh yes, no. And I noticed that was an important part of their story lately. They're pointing it out quite clearly, very clearly. But of course, that would be disastrous if they were to admit something there.
oh of course. I mean, can anyone really be surprised that a crown corporation is defending a crown corporation? Like, I didn't expect much from the Fifth Estate anyway, but
I think it will at least get a few more people looking. I just hope that they're able to go to the next level, which is to see why are they going to these, why, is it just simply that they're terribly incompetent? Because I don't think anybody that, I don't believe you are you calling for the disbanding of the RCMP?
I mean, I wouldn't be sad to see it go. It just depends what takes its place. We were having an off-air chat about that the other day. Yeah, if they're just going to replace it with something equally as bad or worse, then you're not really gaining anything if it got disbanded. But I mean, haven't exactly done a good job for a while now. I'm sure probably some people would say decades since they actually have done some good police work out there. And I mean, it's a shady organization, so I don't trust it any more than I could probably throw one of these RCMP cops, but we got to deal with it while it's here, at least.
Well, if you have a 6-foot mat, that's racist. Racist.
A 6-foot mat, this guy.
Brenda Lucky. Oh my God. Terrible. Steve, did you send me that picture? I never did get it about the video where the altered views happened this morning. Steve and I were talking. He found a video. He was started laughing, and I was like, "Oh, what are you laughing about?" And he said, "Oh no!" And he started to read it. I think it was read it or read the title or play it. And I'm not going to say what it was about, but it was something that would trigger me.
Okay.
So, yeah. Okay. So. And it went from, Steve is here, 44, how many was it? 4 or 5 views. And I took a picture of it and it went to right away. I went over to it and it had on a smaller channel, not a terribly small channel, obviously much bigger than this one, but not big. What did it have? Oh, that's right. I put it over here. Whoops. One moment. 4,300 views with 661 likes. I was like, wow. I guess caught it at the right time.
Which channel was this?
Newsmax?
I've been kind of hearing more about Newsmax these days. Actually, ever since the American election, a lot of Republicans were PO'd with Fox News, so I've been hearing a lot more about Newsmax these days.
Newsmax has an interesting ownership group.
I didn't even know they existed until, just within the last couple weeks, and then suddenly everyone's like, go to Newsmax instead of Fox. I was like, no idea who these people are. But they were changing the views on that.
Yes,
Okay.
or somebody was. Beard's looking good, says Steve.
A little more trimmed up than last time, but it's hangs in there. I don't think I'm ever getting rid of it. Maybe if it becomes all gray. What's
when
that?
It goes gray?
Maybe when it goes all gray, we'll see. But then again, maybe the gray will just give me class. But
Bring a picture when we're in heaven, because I'll be there for sure. It's a young sprout.
yeah, but you'll be up there, and I'll probably just be burning down below. I am a heathen after all.
Well, what is up is down. What is down is up. Okay, so you'll be up there, and I'll be down there. Okay, that sounds about right. Shube site enhanced photo. Okay. So what were some of your thoughts on last night's show, other than kind of just controlled opposition, or why did you feel it was controlled opposition?
Just for the fact that they were starting to talk about a little bit more about like how the families are upset with how the RCMP responded. I mean, that was kind of the one thing that was left out in a lot of reporting for a while, was that a lot of these families were unhappy. Sometimes you got the occasional piece where they were talking about the families were suing the RCMP. But all in all, it was like they were trying to present it as the RCMP did everything they could. Very well done. And then in comes the Fifth Estate that is sort of taking a different turn on this. So now it's suddenly the RCMP, they kind of dropped the ball on this, but that's kind of the only way they made it seem, that it was just them, they just made a mistake and that's it. They deserve to be criticized for that, but there's really not much more than you can do, rather than it seems like from what we've sort of like everyone here has uncovered over the last several months, which is that it seems like they're going to hell and back just to try and cover up the truth as to what's going on. So it's sort of for those that are not seeing things from from the narrative they want, that this happened, this guy's responsible, RCMP did everything they could. It kind of placates them, be like, okay, at least the CBC's asking questions, but they're only asking the very surface of those questions. Maybe they just didn't do a good job. They're not going any deeper in that and showing the problems with the evidence that has been released. A lot of it, which by now, I mean, we're not the only ones that have seen it. There's thousands of people across Canada that have seen it, who have actually decided to look for themselves. So this is why I saw it as just controlled opposition. Make it seem like they're asking the tough questions, when in reality, they're not really even going past the surface of what the real problem is with this whole investigation. Yeah.
And I really do. I envisioned a whole bunch of people coming together from multiple fronts, because we're up against a machine that is our own machine, which is odd, but we're fighting ourselves. But we need to band together, because keeping separate is really hurting us.
Well, I mean, that is the great plan, right? Divide and conquer, and it's been an effective strategy so far. So that's exactly what they're going to try and do again.
Divide and
this
conquer?
investigation.
What are you talking about, man? Nobody does that.
I know, it's not like it's written in Sun Tzu's Art of War or anything.
Yeah, okay. Anyway, we'll lose some. Gotta go slow. Don't hang your high hopes on archive.com. When blackouts happen soon, surely you'll notice many websites and all people just gone. Yeah, you and I talked about, it's totally off topic, but Fadi Chade and his former job, and where he's at now, and the Great Reset, because now people are hearing the Great Reset, and I mean, they don't have a problem throwing these things out there. It's just what's going on in behind it, and how long it's been going for, and who are the players. Yeah, people are going to get nixed. People think it's like, oh, I'll get booted off of YouTube, or no, it'll just be booted, period, or they'll boot the entire internet. Like, I know, of course, Schwab saying that. Schwab. Yeah. I mean,
it's getting so much harder for you not to say anything, isn't it?
I can't. I mean, I do periodically. I can't. I just can't. I can't. Yeah, I think I can't show that picture, so I won't. Praying for Albertan. Praying Albertan. I like that one. That's a good one. Todd sold his beard to buy more Sharpies. Gosh, he's just, they're all a mess, eh? It's really quite, and I was listening to this thing. I played video stream probably 2 weeks ago
Mm-hmm.
with Blair and the Public Safety Security Commission. I think it was Oversight Committee.
Yeah.
And oh my Lord, that thing is just terrible. Terrible. I couldn't even understand them. I don't think they're speaking English. You know, I never learned these kinds of things. They just blither blather about all kinds of stuff. And in there, they had, I would say, 10 minutes, maximum 10 minutes. No, it's less than that. Probably about 7 minutes for an over 2-hour program, to which I missed because I didn't realize it was on earlier. That devoted to Nova Scotia, but they had lots of other stuff in there about other things which frankly aren't probably near as real. How do you join the Discord server? Keeping it kosher. Keeping it kosher, dude. I'm keeping it kosher. How do you join the Discord server? You can send Adrian. Adrian, do you want to give your contact information over on the Tweeties or?
Tell you what, I can actually just put the link in the chat for him, so that way he can just click on that and it can
maybe we close down the server because we don't want tons of people swamping it. It's kind of turned into a bit of a gong show.
Yeah, it's a good point. All right, what I will
do remember somebody saying that once before, but I can't remember who that was about the Discord. Be careful of the Discord. You don't want the server open.
Hold on. Yeah, what's that?
Who was that again?
Wasn't that me?
Oh, yeah. I guess it must have been.
Hold on. I'll throw my Twitter account into the chat there, and just send me my DMs are open. Just send me there. I'm not on Twitter much right now, but I'll be on in the next couple days or so. So just shoot me a message. Tell me you want to join the Discord.
Are you coming back?
Well, I do have something in the work right now. I am. I was kind of telling you the other day, but what I'm working on is it's a multiple video series where it's just going over COVID and the information there. So the first one, we're just looking into the. In the first video, we're just looking into some of the data in the CDC. And then second video is covering certain things such as the isolation camps in Canada. Third video is going to be covering the Great Reset. Fourth, the Industrial Revolution. And then fifth video is just going to be a mixture of a lot of different information, just a hodgepodge of stuff all together.
Mm-hmm.
And there may be a sixth depending, but my plan is just to get it all done, and I'm going to drop it one day after another.
6. There's going to be 6.
Possibly 6. I
Do
know.
you know I saw a story about you and I think discussed it about the number of vaccines.
Sorry, say that again.
Number of vaccines coming to Canada.
This was how long ago was this? Was this just the other day?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I think I remember our conversation. Yeah.
Yeah.
Twitter link is in the chat, so that's my Twitter handle. Just send me a message there, and then I'll send you the invite. But please continue.
Well, it was just an interesting story because I thought I'd yeah, it was interesting.
Sorry, I'm terrible at multitasking. Give me like 2 seconds. My mind's back in the game. Drop that. Pull up the chat. All right, cool. Sorry. I'm terrible at multitasking like that when I'm trying to go all over the internet. Canada expects 6 million COVID-19 vaccine doses early in 2021. Ooh, 6 million. Seems to be a very unique number. 6 million doses to fight cholera brings.
Anyway, sorry.
It's always that number, isn't it?
I don't know. I don't know anything about it.
Yeah, you don't know anything about it.
There's quite a few that seem to come up actually. It's a popular number. I'm going to use it on my lotto ticket.
Just 6 million.
I'd like to enter that number, please. One of my 49.
I hear it keeps on paying 70 years later.
Anyway, can't discuss that. So what else have you been up to? Maybe you can fill everybody in. I'm just going to grab a quick coffee.
All right. Well, for a while there, I was sort of just, I just need to get away from YouTube and everything for a bit. It was just a little bit overwhelming. And as I was saying to Seamus, I kind of got to the point when it came to Nova Scotia, I wasn't sure where to take it anymore. Seemed like we just gone over all the angles. So I kind of had to just step away for a bit. And in that time, I just kind of ended up starting to see people I hadn't seen in a little bit. I was kind of getting a little too involved in YouTube, like actually to the point where my wife actually had to sort of sit me down and say that I was spending too much time doing this, like days off that we had, which we don't get a lot together. I would be down here doing this sort of thing. So it was like kind of affecting a bit of my personal life. So I had to sort of step away for a bit. And then just with everything that was going on, like with COVID and the lockdowns and everything was something else. It was kind of just for me was that final straw that kind of broke my back, just pissed off at everything. So stepped away for a little bit, kind of just recollected myself and saw some friends, saw some family I hadn't seen for a bit. Then I ended up just like within the last month or so is when I decided I wanted to get a little more back into it. So started working on the videos a little bit more, which is taking longer than I was expecting because just like working a little bit more lately. So it's been a little more difficult to find time to get things done. But yeah, that's pretty much what I've been up to the last 3 months or so.
Are you ready for your reset?
For my great reset? I don't want to. They can't make me.
Want to.
They can't make me, man. Actually, they're going to try anyway, but no, I'm not ready for my great reset. I've seen what that future is supposed to bring, and it's not a pleasant one. I mean, I don't want my data, I know we're already tracked everywhere we go, but I really don't feel like microchips being implanted in me so they know exactly where I am at all points. I don't really feel like fusing my biological data with my digital data, as Klaus Schwab puts it.
Oh, but that's just the best part of technocracy, you know?
Oh, and then there's clearly going to be some plan to, like, in some way nuke the internet just to make it even more censored than it is. Since if nobody has been aware, but with the Great Reset and everything in the Fourth Industrial Revolution, they've been talking about how, well, you see, COVID's not the problem anymore, not the danger. No, the danger is going to be a digital COVID on the internet. And because of that, we need to give all these people access to all our data. And, you know, there might have to be a digital vaccine. So they're preparing something for these sort of platforms.
Well, my computer's always sick. You know? I thought that's why it has the antivirus.
Well, yeah, the only reason your computer's sick is because you have a bunch of RCMP trying to hack it all the time.
Well, I probably should stop watching those videos and things too.
She's going a little crazy.
You know, those RCMP videos and such. It's pretty hot stuff. Hot stuff on my computer.
I can imagine. Boy, what I wouldn't give just for like an hour just browsing through the files you have.
If anybody could make sense of anything that I do, like it would just be, No, I was just going to pan the camera around, and that's actually quite shameful. The amount of papers is only slightly indicative of what goes on everywhere and in my computer, lest my mind. I'm just checking the Discord here. What were some other standouts in the, or what, do you have any strategies that you think may be good from this point forward to deal with what's going on down there?
It's going to be a bit difficult, but what I would like to do, which again, going to be difficult, but I kind of want to take a page out of, if you remember, like a year ago, there was the whole situation going on at TPUSA with the Groypers. Do you remember that?
Yes.
For those who don't know, it was a lot of like people like Charlie Kirk, a lot of these fake conservatives, like one YouTuber at the time, Nick Fuentes, was having his fans go down at these events, these big college events, and he was just having them harass them, hanging them by their own words. You know, they would go ask him questions, and just it did a lot of damage to the reputation of TPUSA and Charlie Kirk and many of the other ones there, about how they're kind of not asking the tough questions, about how they claim to be for things such as traditional values, but you know, when they have all these interviews where they're claiming the opposite. Anyway, what I would love to see done with that is sort of the same sort of thing when it comes to the RCMP officials down there, would be to get them when they're doing these interviews and stuff, and just hammering them with their own quotes, with the evidence that we have, put them right on the spot, because the media, sometimes they would ask some good questions, but they don't really harp on them. This would be sort of like going in and just taking a hammer to their heads over and over and over again, just this one after another, getting people inside of these press conferences so that way they can just hammer them with the questions. You know, they threw Frank Magazine out there, but imagine having 20 Frank Magazines at one of these at one of these press conferences. Sort of, that would be one plan I kind of had in mind for that. But I liked your idea about going down. You actually were talking about going down to the area and asking people.
Oh, sorry.
Like asking people in the area, getting them face to face, and then having them ask your questions, and then try and see if you can get what sort of answers they give you. It's a lot easier to tell if someone's lying when they're standing in front of you than over a computer screen or anything like that. Even some of these officers that were present that night, just be able to actually get them and ask them all the questions of what they saw, what they experienced. Because, you know, if you get enough of these cops, then it would, you get enough of these cops and you keep asking the same questions over and over, they're going to trip themselves up. And then that's a couple ideas I kind of had.
Yeah.
Difficult to do.
I was talking to, well, you feel like a road trip?
Feel like a road trip? Road trips are always fun.
Well, Steve and I were talking, there's a campground we were talking about this morning that we could go and stay at. So we could, you know, east meets west or west meets east. I don't know. And somewhere in the middle, you're kind of in the middle, so we could come and get you and just swing by, and then, you know, probably pick up a couple of people, a couple of good friends who like to sit in the car. Tara can go and ask questions.
Yeah, that actually sounds really good to me. Do you have any dates in mind?
I don't. I just have the campground.
Just got the campground? Oh, well. There's always time to prepare for that. Because, yeah, all I really need to know is just enough time in advance, because I'd gladly book that time off from work and then go on a road trip towards the east. I've actually, it'd be kind of cool, too, for me, because I've never been out to farther than, I think, like Quebec City is like the farthest I've been east. So it'd be kind of cool to get down there, even if it is for work.
Really? Wow. Okay.
And see, the problem, though, if you're going that far, is you got to travel through a whole province of French people. It's just awful.
Whoa. Gosh, you almost have as bad, you know, political correctness as I do. You know, it's almost like talking about that other thing. Anyway.
It's actually a good thing, because a lot of time I've gotten in trouble because of some of the way I talk about Quebec, and I just turn around. You know, like half my family's from Quebec, so my father's from Quebec, so it actually kind of I got that defense for it.
Steve says April showers. April showers down there. April might be fitting. Yeah, 1 year. We could do a 1 year type thing.
An anniversary type thing.
Yeah, that would be pretty good. Dave says he'll show us some hospitality. I don't know if I trust that. I'm worried, actually. I'll stay away.
I get the feeling that's like when he says maritime hospitality, it's like the type where they just take you outside the bar and just beat the crap out of you.
I have a feeling, yeah, there's probably going to be a few people who might not be very happy if I was around. So I'll probably just stay in the car.
That's perfect.
Well, I'm not as big as I used to be.
That's
What was
fine.
it? Somebody told me that somebody said the other day in the Discord I weigh a twig or some nonsense.
It's okay. So am I.
Sorry?
I said, so am I. I'm not a big guy. Look at this friggin' wrist. It's tiny.
Okay. Well,
So, yeah, we're
you're
in the
picking
same
up
boat.
the
Here.
ladies. You're picking up the ladies.
I know, right?
We could go, we could stay in Campbell's yard. I wonder how that would go over.
Occupy Campbell?
Sorry?
Occupy Campbell?
Occupy Campbell.
Yeah. There you
Campbell
go.
soup. Huh. That would be pretty good. We'll treat you to a donor after we beat the piss out of you.
Ah, awesome. Only if you buy us a drink.
Oh,
Seamus will drink Sprite.
I do appreciate honesty. I'm a big guy on honesty. Crash here. He has spare room and couch. News Sick Radio. Is your password like that too? This is uppercase, lowercase, uppercase, lowercase. It's confusing. Occupy Portapic. Well, that might be going a bit far. Perhaps Leon, we could stay on Leon's place.
You know what we can do? We can each camp out to the entrances to Portapic, and then when the RCMP come by asking us what we're doing, we'll just tell them we're showing them how you actually shut down a road.
We'll just park the camper across the road. It's closed. You can't get out now. One way in, one way out. Okay.
You did this a year ago, and you would have had the guy, but
you have a bomb squad, and you have like what is it? What was the latest one? What was last night? The PRO, the PRO, the public. What was it? What was it called, Steve? The PRO. Do you remember that? Professional responsibility officer. They have pros over there. Like, what's going on?
listen, I've got we all have about the last 7-8 months of videos and files that proves otherwise, that they are anything but pros down there.
I just hope that the digging keeps going, and they dig like we all dig further. Pros my ass. Tammy, how's it going? And go to why it is that they're doing this cover-up job, because there is always a motive, and the motive isn't just that they're trying to hide, because it's our money. If they have to pay out money for a settlement, it's our money. They don't care. And anybody in their own public relations officer, public rendering objects. Ouch, that sounds pretty. That's a visual I didn't want to hear. Professional rendering. Okay, there it is again. Render. I always think of factories. We've got to keep going, because underneath it, there is a reason, and it's a big reason, very big reason, and this is why they're so terrified.
Well, what they really want in the end is just the people to stop asking the questions, and that's why it's been great that the families themselves have been like, I get it, they have a dog in the fight more than you or I or anything to keep up the fight, but I'm glad that they keep asking questions, and they're still looking to hold the RCMP accountable for all this, because if they don't, then at the end of the day, it's just going to be another thing they sweep under the rug, and then give it a couple months after that, nobody's going to remember it anymore.
Well, they did a good job trying to bury that, but I see that they've changed tactics, and now it's kind of this gatekeeping and misdirection that they're trying to go off into, and depends on how many people are going to buy that. And don't ask the bigger question, why? Yeah, why? It's always, everything has a motive. People don't do things and they don't go to these extents without a reason, in my opinion.
Well, it's part of the strategy that they do. It goes the same way. They always end up trying to they always try and cover it up. If that doesn't work, then what they try and do next is they try and downplay it. They'll take some responsibility and try and make it seem like they're being big men about this. We made a mistake. We're owning up to it. But really, it's just to try and that's the whole point of it. It's just so that way the people stop asking questions. So it seems to be the proper, like they're just following the proper rule book for these situations. But again, if you keep pushing them, and we keep presenting that evidence, sooner or later something slips up. And it may even be that it could be they accidentally release something they're not supposed to. Maybe one day one of those warrants comes out completely unredacted. Just something like that, just spitballing. But they're just following exactly what they're supposed to do. I can't imagine, though, that all the RCMP cops are feeling good about the way that it's being handled. I'm sure there's one or two out there that just really wants to let a few things slip. There are good people in there, as much as it can seem like they're all trash. I'm sure there's one or two sooner or later, if it's not already been released and just we haven't come across it yet, that there's some officers that are just about ready to explode and say, fuck it, here's what really happened. You're muted.
Right? What?
That's unacceptable, man. You're supposed to be a professional.
No, I can't do a stream without like massive amounts of errors. Like that's just not possible. Life doesn't work that way, They're just going to keep going with their nonsense until they're stopped. But the only people that can stop them are people that speak up. It's not. The days of inaction are over. Like they seriously are. They're over. People have gotten way too beaten down and apathetic. They just feel like, well, I can't do anything. Or how many times do you hear that line? I'm just one person. What do I do? I can only take care of myself or my family. That's not the way things, professional boomer. Okay. That's not the way things ever change. It's just, if we change things, we change our world. That's who does it. But it's not like keyboard warriors and shit like that. I mean, you can do so much, but then it's using our brains and stuff like this. The logic. Tara was saying that she was learning about a class in university, or different courses in university, and in particular fields that are geared towards actually helping people to be illogical, to no longer think logically, that's just a mess.
Yeah, I believe they call that course core math. But I can believe that to be the case, absolutely, because like that's the point of universities are at these days is that they want to dumb people down enough that they'll accept they can work the machines, but they accept they don't really think much of it. They can work the machines, accept the crappy wages, but they're not really going to be rocking the boat. So I can believe that to be for a fact. Although I'd be kind of interested to see what these courses are.
Well, I would be too. She said she was going to try and track them down and send them to me. I think, to answer your earlier point, there has to be RCMP members that are absolutely fed up. It's not there has to be, and I'm kind of guessing there are, but it's just getting past that groupthink mentality where speaking out gets you severely swatted, and just taking it on and saying, okay, listen, I'll take one for the team. The fact is, I don't think a lot of people are going to stand by as somebody comes to rescue people rather than leaving a cat rolling around on a screen for others to die. There is one member, and I know of in particular, who has had it, and they're out. They were there that night, and they're done. I don't know what they saw. I haven't spoken to them, but I do know that their papers are in, and they've had enough. And probably that doxes them, and hopefully I don't get them in trouble. But they're done. They're finished. You know, like their image has been completely destroyed. And who wants a great career, a great organization that is the pride of Canada, the most recognized police force in the world, even though they have way too much power, which frankly needs to be scaled back on a grand scale. But why do we need to get rid of something like that when there's lots of good people? It's just trash at the top that runs them. And there are a few bad members, they need to go. But I think, frankly, left to their own devices, they're not going to do it themselves. But with some help and some encouragement and support from Canadians, they will, because they don't want any more of this either. Those members don't want to live in that. Like they get traumatized all the time. I know I use that word. People think when I speak, I use hyperbole. I never do. I'm being quite literal. They do get traumatized. And why are we having an unsafe work environment, a hostile work environment, when we're the employer? That's terrible.
Well, the thing is that's unfortunate with this cop that's leaving and everything, and it's been proven time and time again in local police forces all over the world, is that these people who end up either getting kicked out or leave their job, those are usually the people you want as a cop, because those are usually people that they're not treating it as just a job. You know, they take that role quite seriously. Mm-hmm. And they're the ones that, you know, if a cop is abusing their power, they're more likely to step in and stop it. They're the ones that's like, you know, I saw this cop break the law, I'm prepared to report him, but they end up getting forced out. So it's unfortunate that a lot of those cops that are actually the good ones are the ones who end up leaving the force, leaving the rest of them, the bad ones, still in there, because like they're the ones that kind of go in, they go in, they're just treating it as a job. They kind of feel that they're underpaid for what they do. So, you know, maybe I should skim a little off the top. Who cares if this, you know, I'll take this money from this drug dealer. You know, who cares? It's, you know, he's a scumbag. I'm actually protecting the community type thing. And it's just, it's unfortunate because it's not like something, it's not like, it's not quite like the show Gotham, in which you got one cop that's trying to reform an entire corrupt police force or something. It ends up being that they're the ones that are forced out because of it. But like, you can't really expect this is a job where you need people to take it more than just simply a job. Like, it's the same thing like a firefighter or a doctor or any of those. It can't just be a job, but it's got to be something that you are passionate about, something you want to do right by. Because those jobs where you got people's lives on the line, you can't just treat that as like the same way a McDonald's employee goes in. You know, you screw up a burger, what's the big deal? You know, I'll just remake the burger. So it's
what's
that?
What's that burger made out of?
Crap.
Oh,
bunch of chemicals and not real meat. That's what it's made out of.
Give me some. That sounds yummy.
Oh, I know, right?
I don't know who along the way decided, was that Croc, or what was his name? Croc of shit or something like that. The McDonald's guy. And he was like, you know, we should have milkshakes that aren't made out of milk and ice cream. That's a winner. So we can save a few cents. Disgusting how, you know, just people's things went downhill.
Yeah, no kidding. But going back to your point is that you are right. We are at the point where you kind of it's we're now not just in this situation with like in Nova Scotia with the investigation, but just in sort of a point in our lives where we are at a point where people need to they need to speak up for whatever they believe in, because I was talking to you about this the other day, but I actually sent you the video too. I don't know if you ended up watching it. I sent you the link in a text. Maybe it didn't go through. But anyway, it was
Maybe the RCMP intercepted it.
Hey, there you go.
I seriously do get that sometimes where I don't get something.
No problem.
No, I have. Are you available? Is my last text. Will not have that thing in there.
Oh, interesting.
That's not something we should talk about right now.
Well, anyway, I can send you the link again, but it was a video that was done. Very nice. It was a video that was done by the YouTuber Blackpilled, in which he was talking about studies that were conducted in the 1950s. And I'm just actually sending it in the chat now if people want to watch. It's like a 10-minute video. And what the experiments were doing is it was testing people to see how, if they were willing to go against the group and speak up when they knew something to be wrong. And in this case, it was usually examples such as, you've got 2 or 3 lines on a paper, tell me which one is the longest line.
Sorry.
And so, yeah, they had the paper, and it would be like, you got 2 or 3, maybe 4 lines. It's in the person conducting the experiment would say, tell me which line is longest. There'd be about 4 people that were the test subjects, but only one was actually a test subject. The other 3 were plants. And what would end up happening is they found out that a large percentage of the time, when the other 3 plants would say, would give a deliberately wrong answer, like it's obvious you can see which line is longer, the test subject would actually go along with the group to prevent them from to prevent causing any waves. Now, what he ended up doing in a later experiment is he would have one of the plants say the right answer. So if he says like line C is the right answer, and they found that even if one test subject, one of the plants spoke up, the test subject was significantly more likely to say what they believe. So just shows how one voice can actually get a lot of people to speak what they truly believe. You've probably seen it before in your personal life. Maybe you're in a meeting or something for work, and boss says anyone have anything they want to bring up? You might have something you want to say, but you don't do it. Mm-hmm. But then as soon as one person says, I have a problem with this, suddenly you feel more confident to speak about your problems, or someone else does. So it just shows the power one voice can have. And that was one experiment where it just highlighted that. It's a good video. I recommend people check it out. 10 minutes. That's all it takes. So it's the same thing in what we're seeing these days. If you're more likely to speak out against something like, say, like with what we're seeing today, mandatory masks or lockdowns, chances are there's a number of people who feel the same way that are just too nervous, too scared to speak out about it.
Yeah, I've heard. I know you and I were talking about that, and there's a couple of people I've encountered that we know and mutually that were objecting to, and everybody feels their own way, but we're objecting to COVID quite vocally, at least, in the presence of their own company, so to speak. But then as soon as they're placed in an environment where that's challenged, no. I said, so you're not wearing the mask, right? Oh, no, I am. I'm like, huh? What? Like, what are you standing for? How strong are your beliefs? You're like a willow in the wind.
Thing is, too, is there, and I mean, this might be different because I'm living in a city, but there's a lot of ways that if you still want to do your shopping or something, but you're not a person that wants to go in with a mask, there are ways to get around it. I mean, what I'm doing these days is I was never a big shopper, but to begin with, but there's 2 stores I need to go and do my shopping at, which is the grocery store, and I have pets, so I need a pet store. But there are ways now, I know that Uber's doing it where you can get groceries from them. Like they'll literally deliver it to your house. Many places are still doing it where you can do curbside pickup. So These are ways that if you don't want to support the mask, but you're still too nervous for someone to walk into a store without a mask on, there are ways to get around that. So it's just what you look like you're laughing. You look like you're laughing. What?
No.
No. Go ahead. What is it?
Everybody's got to do whatever they do. Everybody's got to do what they do.
Mhm.
I don't know. I just probably why I've had my ass handed to me a lot of times. But you can't back down. You just fight. Fuck it. Who cares if somebody laughs at you or I mean, I was explaining that the other day to my girlfriend. She said, I think somebody here in town, of course, the media's saying, a business got a fine or something like that. I think. And I said, well, what business was that? Well, I don't know. And I said, well, it's interesting because I would like to know the business because I would like to talk to the owner to see if he actually got a fine. Number one. Number two, if he in fact did get a fine, what is that fine? And that kind of confused her for a moment. And I'm sure the question still confuses other people too. Well, what is it? It's a fucking piece of paper with some numbers on it and some printing. And what are you supposed to do? You're supposed to go and pay that piece of paper with numbers on it with a piece of paper with numbers on it. What happens if you don't have any more faith in it anymore? You don't have any more faith in either of the pieces of paper. You just simply say, no, not doing that, thanks. What are they going to do? It doesn't require this mass amount of people. People, I think, sometimes think the system has this gigantic, it can take on everybody. It simply can't. It barely functions as it is. A few people start acting out, well, it all crumbles. People don't pay their tickets, they plug up the court system. They plug up the court system, it all starts to grind to a halt. There's not enough policemen, there's not enough jails, there's not enough sheriffs, there's not enough anything. It doesn't work anymore. It's just built on confidence, which is an illusion. If that confidence goes, problems.
I mean, I think it's I don't know what business this was you were talking about, but I have heard that there are some places that have gotten fined, even employees in those places that have ended up getting fined. Like, I know that my wife, she hasn't gotten fined for anything like that, but where she works, they had a couple people that ended up getting fined. I think it was $800 for going into the store without a mask on. So I think like there are people that are getting.
And what
fined
do they do? What do they do if you don't pay the fine?
Oh yeah, you could definitely, like you were saying, you can plug it up in the court system.
Sure. Every court, unless our legal system goes completely in the toilet, which I'm sure it will, that'll be the next stage. But just plug it up. Just plead not guilty. Every single person. Oh, sorry? No, not guilty, not guilty, not guilty. Okay, we'll set a court date, we'll set a court date, we'll set a court date. All of a sudden, the resources that were devoted to other things can't be. Because they have to reallocate them to try and deal with people, a few people who just object. It doesn't require like 50% or anything. In fact, it requires very little, 1-2% of people. Because they only operate on a shoestring budget as it is. Not that I'm necessarily big in the money thing, and I know you're not either. You know, I did some videos about that. That was got banned, or was that video that got banned? Discussing the fallacy of money in the Bank of Canada.
It would have been on that. We did that on your channel, so I think if it did, it would have been a ban on yours.
There was something on your channel. I think it was Bronfman's.
Yeah, Bronfman's got banned. I also had a video of like 2 months ago or something. I had a video on the shooting down in Florida. Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School, the one with like David Hogg in them.
Oh
And,
no!
like one of those videos ended up getting banned. I think there was one more I also had banned a while back, but I can't remember what it was.
They're gonna get you, man.
Although the one irony is that again going through the court system is that to go in to challenge a ticket with no for not wearing a mask, you gotta wear a mask to get into the court system.
Okay, well then I'm not coming to your court system. What are you gonna do about it?
No, I just think it's ironic.
I mean, if people just kept doing that, they're like, and what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? You and what army? Bring it. Don't write checks your ass can't cash. Or am I losing
Fair
people? Maybe I've totally lost my mind, but
I don't think so.
it's just confidence. That's all it is. It's just
No,
like
I don't think you've lost your mind at all, but I think also the alternative to that is if you decide, okay, well, I'm not going to the court hearing, you immediately lose the court hearing. Isn't that usually what ends up happening?
Yep. Failure to attend.
Mhm.
Yep. In absentia. Guilty by absentia.
Mhm.
So, and next move.
Got to pay the fine.
Why do you have to pay the like? Why the fuck do you have to pay the fine?
I mean, you don't have to, but sooner or later they're going to come after you for that. And yeah, it could mean jail time again. Like you're talking about plugging up the system. Yeah.
And
more that I think that at the moment with the way that the country is and how people are, I get the feeling that it's going to be there won't be enough people plugging up that system that there'll be enough room in those prison systems to at least throw you in for whatever it is. I don't know how long it is you actually go.
well, I mean, if they're going to fix numbers, they're going to fix numbers like Steve and I were seeing just on the phone today, which is pretty clear, and I guess we've all known that. What was that video many years ago? Many years ago, it was the refugee one. I mean, obviously it was going on way before that, and I think everybody knew, but that kind of dialed in quite a few people. Was the who weren't aware of that, the red tube, the partnership with the hashtag something refugee. And it got downvoted like something awful. And the comment section was just flooded. And they just kept deleting and changing the numbers. And people were like pointing it out, screenshotting it, putting it up. Does anybody in the chat remember that? Oh, it was big. And then people even did videos about it, like showing as it was being done. So the videos that are coming out about, said topic, it's very interesting to note a few details, and I know you and I have talked about them some, and Steve and I have definitely talked about them. It's not the right form at this point in time to talk about them, but because there's similar traits that seem to run through them. But the downvoting on those videos, pick any video. I'm not going to obviously say the title, but let's just pick something. I don't know. Okay, let's see here. I'm just going to sample. I have no idea. I'm just going to randomly sample. Okay, so this was released 2 hours ago.
For assistance to deploy in a long term.
Okay, 329, 383. Well, that's not doing too well. How about this one? Full. He's going to come out of his cubby hole. 230 to 213. That's interesting. It's usually way worse. Let's see. 17 hours ago. Shut it. 24 to 44. Okay, they're playing with the numbers now. Let's take something else. CNBC. No, that's probably not going to be good.
I think it's
230.
Yeah, it was the one you were just on.
Okay. Home. Breaking news. We just did that one, right? Okay, here's...
When school isn't a place you have to be.
2,000 downvotes.
Was that 519?
590. Hey, Tara. How's it going?
Hey, Tara.
Gonna
Send
have-
me a package. I'll have to check.
We have identified
That sounds-
1,500.
Okay, so this is what? Is this channel? Edmonton Journal. 2.2 thousand downvotes. 321 upvotes. Comments. Comments all turned off. But if you read the comments on these things, ooh, then it starts to get really spicy. You don't really see a lot of support. 2.2 thousand to 383. No, we looked at that one already. 1,521 comments. I mean, that is crazy. You know that. That's a crazy number of comments.
Oh, absolutely.
At least Global leaves their comments on. 168 upvotes. I love how you can't even, the downvote doesn't even work anymore, because once you get the bots and you try and downvote the bots, I mean, it's a very minor way. That's what Tara and I were speaking about this morning. At least it's a silent way of objecting. 299 to 2.1 thousand. The ratios here are crazy. And that's just people starting to speak out. Now, how many of those people are willing to do something? I don't know. I'm not obviously advocating anything crazy. I'm just saying it's going to fall apart if people want it to. If people want to ba and go along with it, well, then the people who do object to it will get mowed over. Then they came for me. That was written by. Anyway, moving on.
That's an old poem, isn't it?
Oh, it is. It is. I don't believe media numbers. No. Can you believe the media if Sharon says details in the video and then they lie about it? Likewise, we know what Leon said in his interview with us, and nobody wanted to say it, and they still don't want to say it, and they'll still push their bullshit narrative. Like, this is good for that fact too, to blow up that BS. Frank wrote an article today. Did anybody? I dropped it in the. It's an old poem. It's applicable now. An excellent Portapic primer, gaping holes aside. 13 deadly hours, Nova Scotia shooting, the fifth state's take on 1819 rampage is an excellent primer on the murderous swath. Dartmouth denturist Gabriel Warpin cut across the province 7 months ago. This is unbelievable. It's going on this long. Gaping holes aside. But first, what's the show got right? Aside from the serviceable timeline of the shooter's movements, most important is the display of some of the RCMP's many failures that weekend for a mainstay national audience. Lies told to the public by National Police Force about what they knew and when they knew it are laid bare. Quite nicely framed production values expected from a mother corporation institution. Like you said, right? This is a crown corporation, so they're just defending their own. This is our employees, though, too, CBC. There's Superintendent Campbell and Chief Superintendent Leather telling us days after the fact that police didn't know too much about the shooter, that he was driving a police vehicle and wearing a police uniform until a significant key witness emerged Sunday morning. The key witness, which they refer to as common law wife Lisa Banfield, is not identified by name. What do they call her over on 13 Hours? Fiddlefart, or what is it? Beth, I think they call her.
Beth.
You know, like Beth. Lisa, Beth, you know, I'm seeing they're kind of the same, right?
Kind of,
yeah. I don't know. Why would you call people by their wrong name? I guess today I'll just go by Biff. And I'm feeling like a pink cloud. This is the insanity that we're operating in, so that you forget about who Lisa is. That's what they want.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's supposed to know, because then if you know, you might ask where she is and why she hasn't come forward and why she hasn't talked to any of the family members. None of them. Zero. Beth. Yes, Beth.
Well, I think also too is there certain information about Lisa Banfield that they're trying to avoid, such as like what was I forget the guy's name that you spoke to, who Lisa Banfield came to his house when the shooting was going on, and she was apparently in the woods all night, but then she didn't have a scratch on her or anything. I think they're just trying to make her disappear for that. The fact she hasn't come forward, the fact that she claims to be in the woods all night, there's no evidence of that. The fact that she seems to have gone into witness protection. I mean, they haven't said outright, but you can kind of infer from what they were saying.
Problems. Is not identified by name, as has become the habit of the media everywhere. Just like we're not supposed to know his name. Why? Are we supposed to forget of what a murderous rampage took place there? You know, just let it just go. So this is commonplace in our consciousness. You're just constantly getting shot at all the time. More on that in a moment. Quote, but what we've learned from the RCMP did have these very same details at least 8 hours earlier. Julian Findlay says in an overlay, followed by exclusive audio clips from an unidentified initial witness. We see internal Bolo, be on the lookout, communiques containing info, Gabriel Wortman, white police car, etc., timestamp from early mornings of April 19th. All that is followed by the now infamous tweets. We're out of the cat now, I guess. Police shared with the public and when. Very little of this is new, but there is a place for Fifth Estate's hand-holding, walking us through why we should be outraged, wondering how many lives could have been saved, and had they gone public with key information earlier. Add to that, RCMP's first responders actively trying to seek out, engage the shooter early on, and was their mission Saturday night simply one of hold and secure? What if police had not made the fatal assumption that Wortman had committed suicide in Portapique? What if RCMP had thought to ask someone if the main road was the only way out of there? That perhaps there was a back road that they weren't aware of. But one gaping hole in the story is too big to ignore, although the dearth of information about the shooter is almost to be expected in this brave new world. Speaking to Frank Magazine last spring, Gillian's former colleague, Lyndon McIntyre, I didn't realize he'd left little doubt that his version would have included a no stone unturned investigation of precisely who this Gabriel Wortman fellow was. and what made him tick. You see, there I think lies the answer of what was going on down there. Personally, I would rather not be interested in this loser, he said, but I have to be in order to protect myself from similar losers out there as yet unfulfilled. Well, I think there's not necessarily loser, mass murderer.
Yeah.
The news magazine also focuses on the victims extensively to the detriment of giving viewers harder information. This is what I've noticed with a lot of the crap that's coming out recently. Yes, you're going to get a little bit of detail in it. That 13 hours, I think I noticed in the first episode, the first 17 minutes, there was nothing. It talked about how Sarah Ritchie grew up in the prairies and wind was blowing around in the wheat. I frankly don't give a fuck where she grew up. Does that tell anybody anything? Or that the sky is cloudy and they play some fucking kind of music? That doesn't tell anybody anything. Just, it's a psychological warfare. I know you and I spoke about this a lot.
Yep.
Psychological warfare shit, man. We're going to have to get back there again sometime.
Yeah, we could set something up sometime where we can talk about it.
Well, that would be good. I know that people generally like when you and I banter. Probably more so you. The news magazine also focuses on the victims extensively to the detriment of giving viewers hard information. One of the broadcast network hour only has 44 minutes. Oh, I love this number. Anyway, Tara is in here. I think she'll also laugh. After all, and only so much of it can be inhibited by give you a shirt back off his back style testimonials, as sincere as those feelings surely are. Sources say the first cut of the 13 Deadly Hours, the Nova Scotia mass shooting, did contain harder information. I've heard this too from somebody inside there. Or at least raise harder questions, but that material was left out on the cutting room floor so as not to offend our delicate 21st century sensibilities. Really? Is that what they're going to try and pawn it off as? Or are they defending somebody?
Probably both.
Oh, I think more the... No. I don't think that has anything to do with the former. It is absolutely about hiding stuff. Cutting room floor. This was that interview that never aired.
Oh, yeah. They said they did like an hour-long interview or something, and it just never made its appearance. They kind of made reference to it in an article. That was it.
They made reference to it, but you know what? They subsequently went back and inserted the video.
Yes, that's right, eh? Kind of just in the middle of the article, they just embedded it or something.
So if you actually pull up that article, and it's been archived tons of times, sometimes it has the video, and sometimes it doesn't. They keep taking it in and out later. They're cutting more out of it. Wasn't even good enough that it took them months to do it to begin with. They had to go back and recut it, just like Clinton's interview. How many incarnations have we had with that? And they actually try and make it look like it's filmed with a cell phone. I mean, this is some fucked up shit, man. They changed the aspect on it just so that they can say to people, don't look in the background. You can't see the woman in purple suddenly disappear just walking down the road, because then you know what's going on. Anything but passing mentions of the common law wife Lisa Banfield, Banfield, Banfield.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Lisa Banfield. I don't know why this is a problem. Who the official version of events has hidden in the woods for 8 hours over the 18th, below zero temperatures, emerging none the worse for wear, despite wearing being clad in spandex and wearing no shoes, are absent. But then, ignoring the serious questions about anything involving Lisa Banfield, the star witness, have become de jour, haven't they? Still an excellent primer on the event, gaping holes aside. Star witness. Star Witness, my ass. Brown Star Witness. Anyway, it's all right. I just had to. I had to.
Oh, I know. When you get something on your mind, you have to pursue it. I understand.
Just be glad you didn't ever have to grow up with me. Like, holy fuck.
I don't know. You've told me a few stories from your youth. You sounded pretty fun.
Oh, you're still having. I was like, oh no, probably. Yes, no, that probably didn't go over well with the significant other. Like, oh no, that probably wasn't. I did. Was I on speakerphone?
Were you on speaker? No, you didn't have you on speaker at that point.
No, did you have me on speaker?
Yeah, I didn't have you on speaker at that point.
Oh, good. Okay. Anyway, best left unsaid. It's very politically not. I'm not a politically correct guy, but I can wear a suit sometimes. One of these days, I'm going to wear a suit.
Hey, do it on stream.
Okay, so yeah, there's a whole bunch of stuff to go through at some point in time. I'm not sure if where you're at and what you wanted to cover. I'm probably just going to put out that interview with Sharon. But if you want to keep chatting, I'll chat. But
with my crappy audio.
Well, yeah. I don't think I had to cut it really fast, and then I didn't even get it out in time. Like it was still producing, and I'm like, oh no, come on. I'm doing the math in my head, like how long is this going to take? Oh, it's going 0.1%. Okay, X number of minutes. I'm like, no, I'm going to be missing it. I text Steve. I'm like, I'm going to be late. So,
well, you only had an hour to get it done anyway, so it's understandable.
Well, that's my fault, right? I could have done it earlier. I just I have like these grandiose plans all the time. I'm like, yay, this will work out. No.
Oh, it's okay. I'm very guilty of that myself. Yeah, coming up with all these big ideas, and it's like, that didn't work out, or I don't have time to do that. Yeah, no, it's okay. It's not just you. It's me too.
Nova Scotia guy, what's going on?
Hello.
Oh. Hello?
Hello.
I figured while you're still live, I should call in. So I was watching the 13 Hours again.
Mm-hmm.
And something just kind of came to me that made me have a little bit of questions. So I figured I'd run it by you guys.
Yeah, sorry, this is Steve. You have to identify yourself as like an Alcoholics Anonymous. You have to say that.
Oh, well, I just assumed you'd say, what the hell's this guy calling for?
Hi, I'm Steve. I'm part of the Nova Scotia in our investigation crew.
Yeah, that's me.
Okay, sorry.
Okay, so when he pulls, Enfield.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you look at the direction he would be coming from, he probably would have turned right at the very first entrance to go into Enfield. At the big stop. So if he had turned right there,
he would have turned left. But okay, off the highway?
Well, I guess it depends on what road he was driving on, but I'm looking at...
I think I know what you're talking about. Yep.
Yeah, like I'm assuming that he's driving on, what is this, Highway 2? What is this?
Highway 2.
Highway 2.
Okay. Let's see if we can... See, Adrian needs to drive.
Yeah, Adrian needs to drive for sure.
Oh, I know. I'm not driving out to Nova Scotia. Fuck you, man.
I have to put you on mute. Sorry.
Ooh, a phone call within a phone call. We're breaking walls here.
This is a popular place to be.
Yeah, no kidding, eh?
Where am I going here? I'm driving the wrong way.
You messing it up again, Seamus.
I know. Okay, I'm in Brookfield. Don't worry. I'm getting there.
Do you want me to drive?
Do you want to drive?
Sure.
Okay.
Hold on. Let me pull up Google Maps or Google Earth, I guess. Give me 2 seconds here. All right. Let's see. Load, you slow piece of... All right. So where am I going?
I think he wants to go down to the big stop.
The big stop? All righty. There it is. All right. We're at the big stop. Let me share my screen.
Okay, I'm back.
All right.
So have we determined that Highway 2 is probably the road he was on?
Well, just Adrian's really slow, so
Okay.
you have to give him a minute when he's
Let's
driving.
assume that he's on Highway 2, heading south to the big stop. So if he would have turned right to go into the big stop, or left, whatever it would have been, he would have pulled straight into the gas pumps. But according to the way his car is parked, it looks like he would have went around the pumps and then pulled, and then, you know what I mean? Like, he's parked the wrong direction for someone who would just drive straight into a pump.
But there is a turn earlier. No?
Regardless, he still would have drove in straight to the pumps. He wouldn't have been turned around the other direction unless he was thinking for a fast getaway. But again,
With his
everywhere
Mazda
there.
3, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Just want to make sure that we got the speedy vehicle being used.
Well, Steve, it could be something as easy as just the side of which his gas gauge was on.
Yeah, but either way, he could have pulled, like, you look at, well, I guess.
Yeah, okay. I see what you're saying. Okay, yeah. They're sort of on both sides, so maybe, I don't know. Again, it could be that there was someone at the pumps in his side or something. I'm not sure. I was just sort of playing devil's advocate.
Yeah. I also did notice something that we didn't really notice before. It looks like they may have missed the car with one of their gun shots. Because I see one of those little pylon things that we have talked about, you know, they were over so that there was no obstructed view. If you watch the 13 Hours video, one of them has a bullet hole in it.
Who has a bullet hole?
Here, I'll take a picture and I'll, do you want me to text it to you or send it to you in Discord?
Well, I don't have a screen share, so Adrian will have to pick it up. So you send it to Adrian.
Yeah, send it to me on the Discord.
Okay. This is the first time I actually.
Oh, the
noticed
earlier
this
truck
hole.
is for the parking for the truck parking lot. So he would have had to come in, do a UE, and come back around. Yeah, that's interesting.
Which he could have done that if he's thinking about a fast getaway. But it does strike me as odd because someone who's got no gas is going to want to just pull in.
My
get your
apologies.
gas, get out.
I have to interrupt and correct myself because I said that it was on the right. It's actually on the left-hand side. Okay, my apologies. He wasn't really there for gas, was he? One tactical unit with all the press and fucking 7 million police who just then turned around and went to the funeral.
I just find it amazing that they missed the car. Like, they're parked right beside him. How the fuck did they miss the car and hit this sign? It looks like a bullet hole.
Well, I'd like to see that. I don't think I've seen that picture before.
I just sent it to Adrian.
Well, he's a slow driver. This is why I always
into Discord either.
This is why I always drive. I see, and then he turns off his screen share.
Oh, it's just from my end. It looked like it wasn't sharing. Hold on. There we go. Okay, there you guys. All right, here we go.
If you go to 1658 in the documentary and pause it, you'll see what I'm talking about.
1658. All right. Well, Adrian's driving.
There it is.
All right.
Let's see. Can you go back?
Yeah.
I only get the dump small view.
Whoa. Shut up. There we go. All right, going back. There we go.
Oh my, I don't believe I've seen this picture before. Oh, is that the sign on the ground?
Yeah.
The ones that they pushed over for the better shots?
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Yeah,
Maybe they were there to catch their stray bullets because they're such sharpshooters.
Well, that must be those bullets that they were firing off that people heard. What is the consensus? Did he die? Like, I don't think there should be a struggle with that, right? He didn't die like we saw, where they're sitting there with them over the hood. Is there anybody who still questions that?
Okay. No, I don't think. Yeah.
Waiting for answers.
Oh no, I thought you were asking a rhetorical question.
Silence. What the fuck?
I thought you were asking a rhetorical question. No, I don't think anyone disputes that.
Yeah.
What
I agree.
do people in the chat think? Because it doesn't. That time on the truck stop or the truck weigh station is wrong. Or sorry, is not wrong. I don't think. I think it's right, and it's saying what 10:20.
10:30.
10, yeah, so 10:31, right?
Yeah.
10:31.
Yeah.
Because it totally violates logic that all the press is there, all the police is there, and we're seeing them running around with guns over the hood. That's pure lunacy. When they say,
we have some time issues over in Nova Scotia, like
yes, they do.
Accurate. Everybody just kind of programs their own fucking time for things.
It's almost like Newfie time.
Yeah.
I think some Alberta boys could show time skills. Oh, I better not say that. That's offensive.
So Steve, what was the time in the doc you were saying?
I think it's 1658.
1658.
Do you know if you cover up the G and the R on grass-fed beef at A&W, it says ass-fed beef? I just had to.
That's fucking funny.
Okay, yeah, there it is. It's a bit of a better shot, so maybe we'll do that.
One thing I also mentioned to Seamus on the phone there, but I never ran it by you yet, Adrian, is to me, I don't know if it's going to seem the same way to you, but to me it kind of looks like Wortman is quite white in the picture on the ground.
Yeah, I would say so.
Start to get whiter as the longer they've been dead.
I'm not sure how long that takes, though. But yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, you.
Too. Maybe it would be worthwhile looking that up. Like, how long does it take before someone starts to turn color like that?
Let me see what I can find.
Well, it's definitely not a comment. I've heard the same comment about white, and he is pale and a little bloated. I would agree. Like, something looks not quite right there. Same pose as George Floyd, says Harles. Ass-fed beef?
There you go. Todd says 4 to 6 hours after death.
Ooh.
Yeah, I've seen it. It can start as about an hour following death, and it can continue up to 12 hours post-mortem, yeah. But that's the thing, too, is we're not I don't think we're really even that sure to how long after his death these photos were taken. Because if they were, it seemed like they were doing everything they can to control the narrative, which means that I could see that they would have, not just let anybody take pictures, sort of getting everyone away. But then if they spend an hour or two setting things up, that's quite possible.
You have to put the disclaimer on this, right? Because otherwise we're going to get torpedoed with, those guys are conspiracy theory.
Yeah, I mean, really, I don't know.
It's supposition just asking questions, but reasonable questions, right?
Yeah, at this point, we really shouldn't have to put a disclaimer. Like, I mean, there's so many questions that are here. We shouldn't get in trouble for asking them, especially when nobody's really giving answers to them.
Is the restaurant closed all the time there? Because it was closed that day because of the COVID.
I don't think so. I don't know if they got shut down or what, but I would suspect not.
The pictures might not have been taken in Enfield. Whoa.
Who said that?
Linda. So it's open now. So why was it closed that day? They said the restaurant, is it because it's Sunday? They closed on Sundays?
I'm pretty sure somebody said in an interview they were closed because of COVID, didn't they?
I can't remember, but they definitely said, thank goodness it's Sunday. Otherwise, there would have been a lot of people here.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
maybe it is closed on Sundays then. Let's figure that out.
It was closed in March. New lockdown on Thursday. 37 cases of illiteracy.
37 cases of false tests. Wow. Good thing those things are accurate. Good thing they've isolated the virus so that these tests are accurate.
I feel like it's that virus on my computer.
Oh.
Wasn't there an employee said he's here? Yes, that was in an article. He's here. Big stops closed late March due to COVID. Okay. Did you pick anything else out over there, Steve?
That was the first one that came up. I'm going to probably keep watching, and then if something else comes up and you're still streaming, I'll call you back.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna sign off and do the same, and I'll put that Sharon interview up.
Okay, gentlemen, take care.
All right.
Adrian, always good talking to you.
Yeah, you too, bud. We'll talk soon, all right?
Yeah, take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Let's see.
I like this phone.
Huh.
It's so shit. It's awesome.
Well, at least on, I think that's right. No, maybe not. Hold on. God damn. Yeah, I'm just trying to find it now. The information on their restaurant there. Let's see.
The chat has been infiltrated. By whom?
Ooh.
That sounds spicy. By COVID? COVID has infiltrated the chat? Oops, I said that word. Oh no. They're going to suppress this video even more.
Let's see. Give me a minute there.
I tell you, I have some interesting friends.
It looks like on Sundays, typically it would be open 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. Again, if this was shut down because of COVID and all that, then maybe it was closed. But in a normal working hours, it would have been open at that time.
Oh no, I'm losing shekels on my account that is demonetized anyway. Oh no.
Shut her down.
Shut her down. Take it down. Big Stop is packed on Sundays. Well, how many Sundays was it closed for? Does seem kind of convenient. There's a lot of miracles. I like the miracles.
Well, I figure if anything, that probably, since it's a sort of a centralized location, I thought that'd be an area where a lot of people would go after church on a Sunday. You know, go eat. That's kind of what I would figure. Again, it could just be that it was closed down because of COVID and all that. But
at the Big Stop,
yeah,
you sit in the pew and then go to the Big Stop.
Seems to be a tradition, right?
Huh?
Seems to be a tradition, right?
Well, it's one of the biggest gas stations apparently in Nova Scotia is the Enfield Big Stop. It's a big hub place to go. But you know, their staff is all changed. Funny that.
That was the same as the up by the cigar shop, right? What was it? I think it was a gas station up there too. Because didn't they lose all their staff after everything that took place here?
I don't know. You could call Marshall, but he doesn't respond.
Let's see. Where was it?
The gas bar, what is it? Keith's gas bar next door was warned, open, but they were warned by an RCMP. You better get out of there. I like that statement. That didn't look bad at all.
Oh, I said there's the cigar hut.
Take care of your friends. I think that, Lloyd was warned by his friends too. Or so he said.
I think it was wasn't it his daughter, he said?
Yep.
I think so, yeah.
She's friends with somebody. It was on his Facebook, I believe.
Okay, yeah, the same thing happened, if I'm remembering correctly, the same thing happened at Wilson's gas station. Just north of the cigar hut.
They were warned?
No, didn't the staff change over after the shooting? Like all of them? There was a bunch of long-term staff there, like people had been there for years, and suddenly it was all new people. I could be misremembering for the Big Stop, but I thought that
Wilson's. I don't know. Big Stop is 5 minutes from your place. Did we ever figure out why the 2242 video had an issue?
The which video?
Remember the video of 2 and 224, where Michael Stewart did one of them, and it cut. There was a clip in the middle of the video, and then Indo Blue 82 did a video, and there was the same cut in the video. That little portion was missing, and I always wondered why, because they were just driving. But suddenly, it's just cut. They don't stop or anything. Just that portion of the video is missing.
Huh. Interesting. Because usually when you see something like that on YouTube, it's people get hit with like a privacy complaint. And you usually just have to edit that part of the video out. If it was in the same spot, that almost seems like what it might be.
Yeah, well, it can't be two glitches on two videos.
I would be very surprised. At the same spot, too.
Yeah, not possible. Too many coincidences. Coincidences mean they're not a coincidence. Mm-hmm. There is no such thing as coincidence anyway. All right. Well, I'm gonna check out the video if you want to stay on.
Yeah, I'll stay on with you.
Well, I'm going to go and check out the video.
Oh, that's what you meant. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
I got to do homework, man. I can't sit around and play all day.
Fine, be that way.
Jesus, man.
Do homework, spend time with your family. Unbelievable.
They're not here anyway. To hell with them.
You kicked them out?
Say that. No. Huh?
You kicked them out?
No. I live by myself. I'm a smart man. I get myself locked down again. They can have their own place. Man.
Just pay for an apartment for them to stay at. You're like, my house. This is mine. You can't come here.
That's right. That's right. Get out. You see, it works well.
Geez, you might be onto something. I might have to get an apartment for my wife.
Well, Wortman was like that, you know, with his man cave.
Mhm.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, he was big on that. Supposedly. Interesting. Yeah. All right. Well, thanks very much for joining me, Adrian. I really appreciate it. It was good to see you back in the saddle again, and hoping that you're. Well, I'm not gonna push, but you know where I'm at.
Of course, man. No, sounds good. I should be back around fairly soon. And again, if you wanted to set up a stream for like the psychological warfare, I'm always down.
Well, there's lots. I'll try and fight it on you.
You'll what? Sorry?
I try to fight it on you.
Try to fight it on me?
Yeah, oh yeah. Psychological warfare. Don't worry, I'll just keep using it.
All right, there you go. You little subversive guy, aren't you?
Whole houses. You didn't see my last name?
Yeah, I know. I know. That was kind of funny when I did figure out your last name. I'm like, wait a minute.
All this time, I'm just secretly hiding in the shadows. Nobody will figure me out. All right, I'll give you a call in a few days. And
All right, sounds good. Yeah, anytime in the afternoon works.
All right. Take care, everybody.
All right. Take care, everyone. Good to be chatting with you all again.